Hello, friends. Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Welcome to another episode of the Grow with Low podcast. And I was just thinking about, honestly, how far this podcast has come because it's not just about health and wellness anymore. It's about like how to grow. And you guys are learning things right along with me. Like when I talk about something on this podcast, it's because I truly lived it and I've gone through it and I've done life-changing things with it. And I wouldn't decide that it's worthy of an episode if I didn't truly believe that. And it just feels so good to know that there is a list of shit that I've gone through and you can literally look it up on Spotify and see. And you can see, hey, have I gone through something like Lauren? Like, can she help me? Even just listening to the podcast, they're so important because I do give those action steps at the end of each episode. And there are things that like actually truly moved the needle forward for me. And it feels really good to be able to have this space in this community and get to share these things. So thank you. Today, it is episode 47, and we are talking about trusting yourself. Trusting that you can keep your results that you get. Because I know sometimes it feels like you're just waiting to fall off the wagon or like waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I've lived that life. Okay. Like I want you to truly believe that you are on a journey and that you get to keep your results and you get to feel amazing forever. And I know it's not just a flip of the switch. And we're going to talk a lot about that today and what I had to do to overcome feeling like I was an imposter in my own skin. I would go through a diet phase just like waiting for the day that I was going to binge. I would know how to get my results. Like I'm really good at sustainable dieting. But in the past, I was just always like, oh my God, I wonder if this weekend I'm going to fall off the train or like what's going to happen once I hit my goals. Like I've fucked up so many times before in the past. Like, why is this time any different? And it took me a long time to move past that. And I'm going to be honest, like there are still times when I struggle with that because your brain is going to tell you what it's comfortable knowing, not what is right for you or what's going to help you. And so in the past, it was really comfortable for my brain to tell me like you're going to fucking fail. And so that's why sometimes my brain will tell me that. But what's important is you remember this episode when it does that, or you watch my self sabotage episode again and you just connect with yourself and you pull it back in because you can do it. And it's not about never not trusting in yourself again. It's about how you handle it when you feel like that because you are safe in every emotion. And it took me a long time to get that to click. Last Sunday, so 5 days ago, I was in a really bad spot for like 24 hours. Like I was really being my worst friend to myself. On Saturday, Austin and I went to Traverse City, which is a town that's about an hour and a half away from where I live now. It's where we're moving in a few months, actually. And we got Chick-fil-A. And if you know me, or maybe you've heard, but in the past, eating out was something that really, really triggered me. Like it would really trigger my all or nothing mindset. I would then binge the rest of the day and I would feel so uncomfortable in my own skin and I would just feel super uncertain about everything in life. And we got Chick-fil-A and I got grilled nuggets, fruit, and fries, like so healthy. And it didn't trigger a binge. Like I didn't feel like binging, which was a really big win. And in the past, I would have been so fucking proud of that. But for some reason, I was in my own head. Lauren, how are you supposed to be healthy if you planned your meals on Saturday and you got Chick-fil-A? Or something that I was hearing. And I'm going to be honest, like, of course I struggle. But it's nowhere near the length of struggles that I used to have. And I would be concerned if I wasn't struggling because I know I still have so much room to grow in this body and in this mind. And Sunday, we we were just hanging out all day. We got groceries and stuff, and my body image was so bad just because of eating out on Saturday. I didn't even go overboard. I was so fine. But I had convinced myself that I'm going to eat out every weekend and I'm never going to be able to keep things on track. And I was looking in the mirror and I was seeing 180-pound me, and that's not me anymore. And I was just beating myself up all day, and I was not trusting myself to keep the results that I had gotten. And that's what sparked the inspiration for this episode, because by Tuesday, I felt fine. Like, I was lean being in my body again. I wasn't bloated. I felt great. I felt like I was on top of the world and that nothing could stop me. And this is a perfect example of the difference between a destination and a journey. Because I'm on it for a journey. Journey means forever, babe. As I'm like talking to the wall. Because sometimes you just got to do that to get in your own thoughts. If I was in it for a destination, yeah, I wouldn't be able to eat out and I wouldn't be able to pull myself back from those thought processes, because there would be a point in my brain where it would be like, well, you can just stop doing this. But because I like to eat healthy and because it's non-negotiable for me to get movement in, like, it's just a matter of time before I feel like myself again in my own skin. And it literally only took 24 hours for me to feel better after eating out this weekend. And had I reeled it in quicker and just trusted myself, I would have felt so much better on Sunday. Like, looking back at it, I'm like, that's so stupid of me. But when I take a bigger picture lens and notice that it only took me 24 hours to get over that, where in the past it would have taken me a whole week, because I would have binged and I would have been beating myself up for weeks. And like, just when you think you're not making any progress, like, take a step back and look at things from a bigger lens, because you are. And it's unrealistic to expect perfection. Life is literally just one big timeline of practicing the things that you're learning. It's not viable to beat yourself up every time you do something in your life because it doesn't align with your plan. And if I spent every weekend doing that, I wouldn't get anywhere. But I know that next time I eat out, I'm going to come at it from a different perspective, and I'm going to completely transcend past what happened on Sunday. Even though it wasn't a big deal, like, a lot of people would be proud of that. And I am. And so let's dive into me now, and also future me, and the me that I am because I don't binge anymore, and because I know that I'm on a journey, and the me that you can be too. Imagine this. Let's close our eyes. Let's imagine, babes. Imagine you're doing your daily habits and you knew you were keeping the results that you were earning. You just knew it. Imagine your mindset being so strong that even if you doubted yourself, you could pull yourself back together within 24 hours or less. Imagine never being worried about trips, being busy, life, or things changing, because you knew how to be flexible. Can you imagine that? Being so flexible and so in tune with your lifestyle and your goals that you had a constant flow of happiness, flow of empowerment, consistency, and alignment with your lifestyle, and still had a life of your own with your family and work. Yeah, it feels fucking amazing. And I know it feels too good to be true, but that's because you've been struggling for way too long. And I'm going to show you in this episode exactly how to trust in yourself, how to be able to pull it back and not have to hire a coach or spend money on a fad diet to get your life back together. Now, in order to trust yourself, you need to eliminate the old norm and build your new norm. The old norm, old self, is binging on the weekends, is not planning. Your old self is beating yourself up. Like, that's the old norm. We're going to build your new norm. in this episode, okay? Right now, you fall back on habits that are likely to skip meal prep, to skip moving your body. The lazy you persona is what you fall back on. But if you don't want to be lazy in the future, why are you being lazy now? This is because you either don't know how to fall back on new habits, you haven't experienced the benefit of those habits, or you don't know how to make them effortless or an easier choice for you. Last weekend, I easily could have said fuck it and fallen back on habits of being lazy, not getting proper nutrition, or working out. But instead, on Sunday, I went and got a workout in. I know my fallback habits are protein, meal prep, movement, and journaling because I know those things make me feel confident, proud, energetic, happy. And when I think of my fallback habits, I am chasing emotions, not skinny, not strong, not toned. I'm chasing feelings. When I analyze getting takeout, not moving my body or sitting on the couch for a long time, not journaling, the feelings that I feel when I think of doing that are consistently are guilt, feeling shame, lack of confidence when I look in the mirror, and feelings of unworthiness. I'm not chasing those feelings. And so those habits aren't appealing to me to do consistently. Sure, I sit on the couch sometimes and I don't work out some days, but I don't go a week on end without doing those habits that are important to me, my new fallback habits. My long-term fallback habits feel good because I look at them and think, how do these habits make me feel? Not how hard is it to go to the gym right now vibes. So let's find your feel-good habits. What make you feel good? How are you getting your results in the first place? Now, a lot of people are going to be quick to say, well, Ben and Jerry's makes me feel good. But does it really? The next day, do you feel guilt for having that? Or are you still happy that you did it? Genuine question. If Ben and Jerry's makes you feel good, that's not my bone to break with you. But I'm willing to bet we probably don't have the same health and wellness goals, which is fine. But this episode is for the people with health and wellness goals. You probably didn't even make it this far if your goal is not health and wellness. So I'm not really worried about that being an option here. I have a really good list of feel-good habits in the prior episode, the one that's just before this, number 46. Habits you need to be healthy and successful, like sound familiar? I really, really suggest giving that episode a listen if you haven't already. But the gist of it is, what we're doing here is reprogramming your norm. Your norm is not trusting yourself. The new norm is having habits that you know will support you even if your mindset isn't fully in it. Until you are. You're not the woman who kept giving up on herself anymore. You're the woman who wants to love herself, wants to learn, and is here to listen. You're listening to this podcast knowing how much growth that you have to offer and happiness that you have to feel. And I am so fucking proud of you. If you feel like you're looking for more support to dive in how to trust yourself and to be guided through building those healthy habits, like I am your freaking girl. And I know if you align with that sentence that you are my person and you are one of my soul clients. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what would my higher self do here in this situation? And every time you question a habit, ask yourself that question, okay? Now, I hope you gained some insight into what life could look like when you finally trust yourself again. But until next time, I'm your host, Lo. If you liked this episode, please take the 30 seconds to rate me on Spotify. It helps me be shown to more listeners just like you. I'll see you guys later.